Good morning, and welcome everyone to the President's Breakfast. My name is Ian Sterling, and I am the President of Doherty & Associates Investment Council. Doherty & Associates has been supporting this important fundraising breakfast since 2005, and we are proud to return once again as this year's title sponsor. We are all so fortunate to have this world-class healthcare organization in our city. We also know that this is the most important fundraising campaign in our lifetime. And that is why Doherty & Associates today is making a 5-year, $100,000 commitment to sponsor the President's Breakfast and support the Ottawa Hospital. We encourage each one of you to join us and show your support this morning. So many of us have been touched by the Ottawa Hospital, including our company's founder, Peter Doherty, who I'm very pleased to welcome to say a few words this morning.
Thanks, Ian. I'm looking forward to being able to contribute to the new future hospital in Ottawa, and in particular to the neurological department, which is near and dear to me because my family and myself have been faced with the dilemma of having Parkinson's disease. We're fortunate enough to have a number of sectors of the hospital that are world-class in its current environment and will be even more so in its new environment. And the neurological section is the one that I'm interested in, but I'm sure that you have friends and relatives that are in need of many of the other services that are to be provided in this wonderful endeavor. It's my pleasure to be able to match the first $65,000 that's brought forward as a contribution to the hospital from this breakfast meeting, and the hopes that it will help induce you to contribute as much as possible towards the new hospital funding requirements. Thank you for donating and have a great day.
Good morning, everyone. Bienvenue. My name is Mark Noonan. I'm a vice chair at Deloitte and very happy and pleased to be hosting my second President's Breakfast. So good to see a full house and a full room. It's very exciting. Before we get going, I would like to acknowledge that we are gathering this morning on traditional and unceded Algonquin territory. The Ottawa Hospital has the privilege and responsibility to serve First Nations, Métis, and the Inuit, and to demonstrate respect for the contributions, cultures, and traditional knowledge of all of Indigenous peoples. This morning we'll be offering live translation services, so on your tables there'll be a QR code. If you want to get translation services, you can scan it with your phone, and that will help you lead you to a page. We've got some distinguished guests I would like to acknowledge today. The Right Honourable Joe Clark and his family, right in front of us. His Worship Mayor Sutcliffe, right in front as well. It's such a great experience to see a full house and a full room like this. To really make a change to effect tomorrow. I'd also like to introduce you now to my co-chair, Lisa Selouki.
Thank you, Mark, et bonjour tout le monde. C'est un vrai plaisir de faire partie de cette longue tradition de soutien à l'hôpital d'Ottawa. À titre de sous-ministre adjointe de Sécurité et Sûreté à Transport Canada, je suis ravie de voir autant de collègues présents ce matin, des partenaires de plusieurs ministères de la fonction publique, ainsi que nos partenaires du secteur privé. L'événement aujourd'hui, on s'entend que c'est le déjeuner de travail de l'année pour notre ville. Je sais que chacun d'entre vous fera sa part ce matin pour soutenir l'avenir des soins de santé, qui comprend notamment la construction d'un nouveau campus ultramoderne. C'est d'ailleurs incroyable de voir à quel point les travaux ont avancé sur le chantier.
It truly is, Lisa. Research is a big component of this $500 million campaign to create tomorrow, and we're thrilled to have Executive Vice President of Research and Innovation at the Ottawa Hospital, Director Auer, as part of our program this year. Fantastic. Such a vital campaign that we're entering into to build a world-class facility that's really going to transform healthcare in our city. And it really is our time for us, for future generations to come. Lisa and I have pledged our support today, and we would invite you to do the same.
En effet, nous vous demandons à chacun de vous engager à donner 1 200 $, un montant qui correspond à seulement 100 $ par mois. Quelle meilleure manière de marquer le 100e anniversaire du campus civique qu'un don mensuel de 100 $. En tant que dirigeant de la collectivité et au sein de la fonction publique, c'est un privilège de montrer à la Ville et à la région l'importance de cette campagne et l'incidence qu'elle aura sur les soins aux patients, sur l'innovation et sur la recherche révolutionnaire. Nous vous encourageons grandement, nous avons facilité la tâche. Pour faire un don, il suffit de remplir un formulaire de don qui sont sur vos tables et le soumettre à votre capitaine de table, ou bien de simplement balayer le code QR disposé sur votre table. Nous vous remercions de votre soutien.
And just a reminder of what Peter Doherty said to kick things off. This morning, your donation, any donation made today, will be matched up to $65,000. So please do complete that donation today. As you consider your gift, just wanted to do a few more thank yous. Obviously, an event like this can't be pulled off without a ton of help. Huge support, obviously, by the staff at the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, which is fantastic. But also, I would like to acknowledge our table captains. So if I could ask, please, our table captains to stand at each one of the tables. They're really responsible for putting this together. We also had some phenomenal sponsors this year. We actually exceeded our goals of sponsorship money. And we'd like to take a second now to thank our generous sponsors. Doherty & Associates Investment Council.
Emeric Harnden LLP.
Sun Life Financial.
CGI Group.
WCP Foundation.
Coughlin & Associates Limited.
BDA Lighting Group.
Deloitte.
Good Key Weedmark & Associates.
Quickie.
Train.
Tarrangan Logson, BMO Private Wealth.
Chartwell Retirement Residence. And finally, the Shaw Center. Thank you, everybody, for the fantastic support.
L'heure est maintenant venue de poursuivre le riche programme d'aujourd'hui. Souvent, nous pensons à l'hôpital que lorsque nous avons besoin de ses services. Parfois, c'est lorsque la vie est en jeu et que les compétences d'une équipe spécialisée sont requises pour la sauver. Personne ne le sait mieux que notre prochain invité. Please welcome Travis Vaughan.
Good morning. I want to take you back to December 2019. We'd just received our first real snowfall, and I was excited to get home from work to take the snowmobile out. I wasn't planning to stay out long, a quick loop and home for the night. There was still light in the sky, but we were inching closer to the shortest day of the year. I completed my tour and was a few hundred yards from the house when the machine hit a patch of rough ground under the snow. The front end of the snowmobile broke apart. The machine rolled, throwing me from it. It happened incredibly fast. Initially, I didn't think I was any worse for the wear until I looked down. My leg had nearly been torn off in the impact. My adrenaline exploded and I was in shock. There was substantial bleeding, but no pain. It's difficult to describe the emotions you experience in a moment like this. An acute existential crisis is the best I can come up with. Thankfully, I had stuffed my cell phone in my pocket and called 911. I explained to the calm voice of the operator that I was lying alone in a field north of Almont. I remember thinking very desperately they needed to know where to find me. If I lost consciousness, it would be my only chance. The situation was dire. I was trying to make a tourniquet, but wasn't able to fully tear the waistband out of my snow pants. I remember the dispatcher telling me there was all kinds of help on the way, and suddenly the cold air caused my phone to die. I remember thinking, you're 32 years old. This isn't how it's supposed to end. It was a surreal feeling. Strangely, it wasn't scary. A warm calm sort of settled over my body. It was just sad. I started to think of my wife and family and the happy milestones I would miss. I had drafted a message in our family chat before the phone died. It said, "I love you guys, not scared." I couldn't decide how to end it. I'll say goodbye. I never hit send. My next thought was very different, the most powerful thought I've ever experienced. It was like getting hit by a train. If I did not survive, it would be my loved ones left to pick up the pieces. I was furious with myself for nearly giving in. From that moment on, I was going to fight with everything I had left to live. Putting one hand in front of the other, I began to crawl. The next thing I knew, I couldn't make this up, our dog was running towards me. He looked at me with a "what did you do" expression. He knew I was in trouble and stayed by my side as I slowly dragged myself home. My wife, Jen, and brother Tyler were home by the time I got to the house. I can still see the shock on my wife's face when I pushed open the door. She came running towards me and covered me with a blanket. Tyler raced to make a tourniquet to help ease the blood loss. Soon the emergency responders started to arrive. I was loaded into an ambulance as time was of the essence, so they quickly transported me to an awaiting air ambulance. When I landed at the Ottawa Hospital Civic Campus, a full team awaited me. When I say a team, it's no exaggeration. There were close to 20 professionals ready and waiting. Every machine in the hospital was available to me. This level of care and professionalism is indescribable. It's unbelievable. I remember telling them, "I can't believe this is what you guys do every day." It was the first time I felt I might survive. My family was also in good hands, and that was equally comforting to hear afterwards. It amazes me to this day that I remember so much about that night. I recall the faces of the trauma team as they worked diligently to determine if there were other injuries. I remember a CT scan showed I didn't have any head trauma, and my neck was fine, but I was hypothermic because of the time I was outdoors. The damage to my femur and surrounding tissue was extensive and critical. I recall someone saying the tourniquet Tyler put on my leg is likely the reason I made it to the hospital alive. My wife and brother gave me a fighting chance. I was on the trauma team to do the rest. Getting the femur positioned back in my leg was going to be the first and very painful thing to do. Dr. Alan Liu, director of orthopedic trauma, was the lead, and I remember an orthopedic resident was with me, standing by my head. They explained how they had to try and put the bone back in my leg. The resident had a good sense of humor, which really helped in that moment, and said to me, "Okay, this is gonna suck." And it really did. But it was the necessary first step on a long path to recovery. Later that night, once I was stabilized, Dr. Liu took me into surgery to rebuild my knee and thoroughly clean the wound. That's when they realized there was bone loss from the accident. A piece of my femur was missing, still back in the field, so my leg had to be stabilized from my shin to nearly my hip. The whole surgery was crucial to set the cornerstone for success and reduce the risk of infection. Dr. Liu did an incredible job with what he had to work with. I returned to the operating room on December 21st for another surgery. Then 4 days later, on Christmas Eve, I had a third surgery. A plate and screws were used to stabilize my femur. The surgical team also needed to start the process of building back the missing bone. Finally, after 10 days in hospital, I was able to go home. But my journey wasn't over. Another big surgery awaited me. That's when I would meet Dr. Jeff Wilkin, or as I like to refer to him, Clark Kent, and he's here today. He's an orthopedic trauma surgeon who would lead that final surgery. Initially, the plan was for a routine surgery for bone grafting. However, after reviewing the imaging, he wanted to realign the femur prior to harvesting bone from my pelvis to graft in my leg. Admittedly, I was shocked with this news. I had mentally prepared for a brief procedure and was now in for a 6-hour surgery. The truth was I was having difficulty bending my knee. Dr. Wilkin explained this was the best opportunity to get it right. On February 13th, 2020, just before COVID-19 hit our city, I was back in the operating room. Mine was a complex case. Dr. Wilkin's skill, thoroughness, and determination gave me the best chance at a future with a fully functional leg. He went so far past the extra mile to give me the best opportunity at recovery. He's given me a second lease on life, and I will be forever grateful for that. I don't know that I'll be running a marathon anytime soon. That used to say ski in the Rockies, which I actually think I can manage. Either way, I was around to experience something far better. My wife and I have 2 beautiful children now. The most recent arrived just in June. I'm beyond lucky to live in a city with access to the world-class care I received that cold December night and throughout the complicated surgeries that followed. While my life hung in the balance, the trauma team was ready for me, and that's something I'll never forget. Thank you.
The President's address is kindly supported by Sun Life Financial. Now, please welcome Cameron Love, the President and CEO of the Ottawa Hospital. Le discours du PDG est généreusement soutenu par la financière Sun Life. J'invite maintenant sur scène Cameron Love, PDG de l'Hôpital d'Ottawa.
Well, good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous. Thank you very much for joining us here this morning. Over the next 5 minutes, I want to give you but a brief glimpse of what our plans are at the Ottawa Hospital to reshape the future of healthcare. I think many of you have seen and heard that across Canada, our healthcare system is having its struggles. But in Ottawa, we definitively have challenges today, but we have opportunities like many others don't to build infrastructure and rebuild programs and services and expand access to care that will reposition our healthcare system to support all of our patients and families in the years to come. Traditionally at the Ottawa Hospital, we have focused on providing hospital-based care. Care in terms of what you just heard from Travis and others in terms of real specialty programs. We will always continue to do that and strengthen those programs through research and innovation. But as we look forward, we have to focus on building a system, and we have opportunities in terms of creating capacity to support patients and families in things like access to long-term care, primary care and getting people a family physician, and building specialty community clinics to integrate care for those that need it when they're in and out of hospital. The reality is our success over the last 25 years that I've been part of this organization is 100% attributable to the 17,000 people that work at the Ottawa Hospital. We are incredibly fortunate to have a remarkable team, and we've recruited people locally, provincially, nationally, and internationally that have completely changed the platform of care of what we do today and will absolutely change the platform of care of what we do for tomorrow. The catch is the future of healthcare and how we reshape it is not just about providing a healthcare hospital, it's about building a system. Systems that we are building are aligning to places that are leaders in this across North America, such as the Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins, and the Cleveland Clinic. For the Ottawa Hospital, our model is built on 2 principal hubs, being the Civic and the General Campus. Having said that, over the course of the last 5 years, we've expanded infrastructure across 13 sites in Ottawa and over 20 sites across the region. And as we look forward, we will continue to expand things like dialysis units, our cancer programs. We're building 2 long-term care homes and plans to build more in the future. We've got currently 2 transitional care centers that we've built and plan to triple that capacity to ensure that our parents and the elderly have access to care going forward in the future. And we're completely redefining how we deal with surgical services as we've moved from 3 to 6 sites and through private-public partnerships and partnering with small hospitals, building a stronger surgical system that ensures that our wait times drop and people have access to care. The catch with moving towards reshaping the future of healthcare is actually focused on building a system where we will build capacity and infrastructure to support people before they get to hospital, when they're in hospital, and most definitely when they leave hospital. In this day and age, though, the reality is you can't do that without a strong digital platform. This has always been a bit of an Achilles heel within healthcare across Canada. For us, this is changing, and over the last 5 years, we have moved to having 7 hospitals in Ottawa and our 20 sites at the Ottawa Hospital all integrated on one digital platform. As we build infrastructure and expand programs across this region, everything will be bolted onto that one digital platform. For patients and families, what that means is it doesn't matter what site you're on, you will have one electronic record, all your healthcare information in one place, and so it doesn't matter what site you go to, whether it's in the community or within the hospital, it's one integrated platform that allows you to see your information, book your clinics, and have access to every single piece of information, and so do your clinicians. And for clinicians, it's not just about what we do in hospital anymore, it's what we do across providing care for people across the continuum. Having said all that, the cornerstone to reshaping the future of healthcare is the development of the new Civic Campus. We have an incredible opportunity as a community that very few communities in Ontario, and even for that matter across Canada, have. And we are now into the construction phase of building this new campus. When it opens, it will be one of North America's leading trauma centers, with over 640 private rooms and capacity to grow to over 1,000 beds in the future to accommodate growth. It'll have 3 million square feet of advanced technological infrastructure to support and advance our programs and services to care for people. And it'll build a brand new research center so that Dr. Auer and her team will continue to accelerate discovery and advance the way we provide care to patients and families across this community. And finally, a life sciences park that allows us to continue to partner with private sector corporations that'll continue to find ways to innovate the way we provide care through advanced technology and digital platforms. Having said that, we often get caught up in the day-to-day swirl and challenges within healthcare, and we will continue to manage that on a day-to-day basis. But tomorrow, we are very much focused on how we reshape and rebuild healthcare, which is tremendously bright and hopeful in this community. The reality is healthcare is very much a community pillar, and it requires great community support. And I want to thank each and every one of you and this community at large for the incredible support you have provided, not only in helping us raise money to support our $500 million campaign to build the new Civic, but for the incredible support that's been provided in so many other ways to achieve our vision and reshape our healthcare plans for the future. While it seems at times that there's lots of challenges, if you stand back and look at the opportunity we have as a community, it is very bright and hopeful. And it's a time when we will build a healthcare system that I am very confident in will support tremendously our friends, our families, and our patients and the future of this community. Thanks very much for your time this morning.
We are the Ottawa Hospital, and we're reshaping the future of healthcare.
Notre hôpital est le cœur d'Ottawa. Ici, nous soignons plus de personnes que tout autre centre hospitalier universitaire au pays.
And our highly skilled teams treat the most critically ill and tackle the most complex cases.
Notre centre de recherche est mondialement reconnu.
No one is better at bringing discoveries to the patient where it matters most.
Et c'est pourquoi nous allons construire l'hôpital le plus sophistiqué au Canada.
Fueling an uncompromising push to the top tier of care and innovation. The cornerstone of a regional system that will rewrite the healthcare playbook.
Ensemble, redessinons l'avenir des soins de santé.
And create a better tomorrow.
Thank you to Chartwell Retirement Residences for the support of this next segment. Please welcome the Executive Vice President of Research and Innovation at the Ottawa Hospital, Dr. Rebecca Auer. Le prochain segment est soutenu par les résidences pour retraités Chartwell. J'invite maintenant sur scène la Dr. Rebecca Auer, vice-présidente exécutive de la recherche et de l'innovation à l'hôpital d'Ottawa.
Good morning. C'est un plaisir de participer au programme aujourd'hui dans le cadre de mon nouveau rôle de direction. When I introduce myself, depending on the context, I'll usually say I'm a cancer surgeon or a cancer researcher or maybe a wife and a mother. CEO of a research institute was never in the plan. But here I am, and the reason is quite simple. I knew there was a better way. En tant de chirurgien qui traite des patients atteints de grosses tumeurs cancéreuses, je sais à quel point les effets peuvent être ravageurs et le rétablissement difficile, même quand le cancer est disparu. For the last 15 years, every Tuesday, which often went well into Wednesday, I've gone to the Auer to cut out cancers. I persevered, and I will continue to persevere, because I truly believe that someday I will no longer need to do this. I know that someday there will be a better treatment. Working at a research hospital, being part of a cancer research team, has always given me that hope. And research gives patients hope. If you or your loved one has ever faced a terminal diagnosis or a chronic disease with no known cure, you understand how devastating it is to feel hopeless for a better future or any future at all. In every disease in which it has been studied, patients who have hope have a better quality of life, are more resilient, and less anxious. They often live longer. La recherche peut alimenter cet espoir. Elle outille les patients et les soignants en leur offrant des possibilités lorsque le traitement de référence n'a rien d'autre à proposer. Several years ago now, my middle son asked at the dinner table, "What do you think is the most powerful word in the English language?" I guessed believe. My eldest son guessed love. My youngest thought pumpkin pie. But to be fair, he was 3, and it was his favorite dessert. We were all wrong. The word is yet, because it makes everything that is impossible possible. He went on to explain, I can't ride my bicycle hands-free yet. One of the most common questions I get asked as a cancer surgeon is my cancer curable? In the past, when it wasn't, I would answer no. But ever since my son told me that story, I've answered, it's not curable yet. And in the last decade, I've witnessed many miracles of science that are now so commonplace that we call them standard of care. Research can offer that hope because of the last half century of unprecedented discoveries and technological innovations in the field of molecular and cellular biology and human physiology. Consider just one such example. The first full human genome was sequenced in 2003, just over 2 decades ago. It took 13 years, and it cost $2.7 billion. Today, we can sequence a full human genome in about 24 hours, and it costs about $1,000. This is just one example of why the explosion in biomedical research has led to an exponential increase in new therapies that are smarter, often safer, and more effective than the standard of care. Research that's done elsewhere offers hope for patients tomorrow. And as I mentioned, that tomorrow is coming faster and faster all the time. But here's the thing. Research that's done here at the Ottawa Hospital, that offers hope to our patients today. Comment faire en sorte que la recherche porte l'espoir dont les patients ont besoin? Nous devons repenser le rôle de la recherche dans notre paradigme de soins cliniques. The Ottawa Hospital, under Cameron Love's leadership, has embraced the vision that research is care. This means that we believe that patients deserve the opportunity to participate in research, and we, all of us, patients, clinicians, researchers, institutions, and society, including all of you, we understand our responsibility to provide that opportunity to our patients. We need to reshape how research is delivered and integrated into care. Today's research will inform tomorrow's standard of care, and some patients, they don't have time to wait. And as an organization, we don't want to be caught standing still when these disruptive therapies and technologies are approved, and we've not had an opportunity to gain experience with their use. We must all believe, that research is care, and we must all want to be a part of it. L'hôpital d'Ottawa continuera d'accroître sa réputation d'institut de recherche en sciences de la santé et sciences biomédicales de premier plan à l'échelle nationale et internationale. We will do this by challenging the status quo, entertaining disruptive ideas and innovative solutions. We will ask first if we should do it, and then figure out how to enable it. We will reserve the word can't for things that are truly impossible. We will serve as each other's conscience to ensure that research is integrated safely and ethically. We will use our world-class expertise in knowledge translation, implementation, and evaluation to understand where, how, and when new diagnostics, therapeutics, and innovations should be used. We will do this together, with kindness, valuing each other's unique perspectives, especially our trainees and patients, and we will do this while respecting the earth. We will be successful, not because of what we do, but because we will never lose sight of why we are doing it. Research drives hope. Research is care. It's fueled by philanthropy, and we are so grateful for your support. Thank you. J'ai maintenant le plaisir d'accueillir Emeric Leblanc, un jeune homme extraordinaire, ainsi que sa mère, Hélène Lachance.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Emeric et j'ai 16 ans.
Bonjour, moi c'est Hélène, maman d'Emeric. Merci de nous permettre de partager notre histoire avec vous ce matin.
When I was 13, my left leg started to hurt. I was someone who was really active. I loved to play sports, to be outdoors and fish. Initially, we figured it was growing pains, but as months went on, the pain got worse. It hurt so much, I eventually stopped playing basketball, and I laid awake at night. It even got to the point where I had trouble walking. Finally, I went through a series of tests. Then, on December 8th, 2021, I sat with my mom and my dad at Chill and learned that I had Ewing sarcoma, a rare type of bone cancer. There was a tumor the size of a grapefruit lodged on the left side of my pelvis. Ma vie entière venait de changer en un instant. Mais qu'est-ce qui m'a bouleversé le plus, c'est que j'allais plus revoir mes amis à l'école.
When I found out that Emeric had cancer, it was like falling into a void. It was surreal. J'avais peur de le voir souffrir. J'avais tellement peur de le perdre. But underneath all the fear was my love for my son. And it is within that love that I found the courage and the inner strength to accompany him on this journey. Emeric faced so much, but a top-notch team came together to give him the best possible outcome.
For over a year, I couldn't go to school. I stopped playing sports, and I spent most of my time at the hospital undergoing various treatments. In total, I did 62 days of chemotherapy, 25 treatments of radiotherapy, over 40 scans, and 13 blood transfusions. There were also several procedures, including a complex surgery called a hemipelvectomy, which involves the amputation of the left side of my pelvis. The team, led by Dr. Joel Warrior, was able to save my hip joint. This has been so important for my recovery and my ability to walk. Le docteur Warrior m'a dit que enlever une tumeur dans le bassin, c'est une des chirurgies les plus compliquées en médecine. Mais j'avais confiance en lui. He worked with Dr. Kowan Rakra, a senior radiologist at the Ottawa Hospital. It's awesome to have Doctors Warrior and Rakra here today. We've never hung out together outside of the hospital. Anyways, they used virtual reality technology to plan for my surgery. And as a kid who loves video games, that was pretty cool.
Yes, and while it was cool for my teenage son, it provided me with a better understanding of the surgery. You see a tumor much better in a VR system compared to an MRI scan. As Dr. Rakrap explains it, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a 3D VR model is worth 1,000,000. While surgeons usually have to pore over hundreds of scans, the VR gives the team a concise way to view all of it combined, and in 3D. Quant à Emeric, il avait déjà expérimenté la réalité virtuelle en jouant à des jeux vidéo. Mais cette fois-ci, il se retrouvait à l'intérieur de son propre corps.
It was great. I could move it around. I could zoom in, zoom out. I could see the important veins and nerves that they try not to cut. And it was cool that I was the first to experience this. So, on July 5th, 2022, I became the first patient in Canada to undergo surgery using this new VR program. It was a very delicate 14-hour surgery to remove my iliac bone and the entire tumor. After the operation, I spent the summer in a hospital bed, the fall in a wheelchair, then all of winter and spring on crutches. Aujourd'hui, j'ai une cicatrice de 50 cm et un trou à l'endroit où se trouvait ma tumeur. Ma jambe gauche est plus courte que ma jambe droite, mais ça m'arrête pas. Je porte simplement une semelle plus épaisse sur ma chaussure gauche. I call my shoe my pimped shoe. Thanks to this technology, to research, and to donations like yours, I'm walking, I'm working out, and I'm back to fishing and camping. Today, I'm living a normal teenage life. Right, Mom?
You sure are, Emeric. You ride a scooter, you jump off a 30-foot cliff into the lake, you eat all the food in the house at midnight, and you are obsessed about those silly memes. You drive your mom a little crazy, just like any normal teen. To Dr. Warrior, thank you. You saved my son's life. To the Ottawa Hospital, your innovative thinking is transforming the way medicine is practiced. To all generous donors, thank you for helping this hospital provide world-class treatment. Aujourd'hui, je peux dire que cette expérience m'a transformée. Je comprends maintenant le pouvoir de la présence, de l'amour et de la communauté. Regardless of what happened to us in our life, it is our responsibility to cultivate joy and kindness and to appreciate every moment as a gift. I've been given the gift of time with my son, and for this, I will always be grateful.
Thank you.
Merci. Bonne journée.
Thank you to Taryn Gunlogson, BMO Private Wealth, for the support of this segment. Please welcome President and CEO of the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, Tim Kluke. Le prochain segment est soutenu par Taryn Gunlogson de BMO Gestion Privée. J'invite maintenant sur scène Tim Kluke, PDG de la Fondation de l'Hôpital d'Ottawa.
Well, wow, wasn't that something? Good morning, everyone. My name is Tim Kluke, President and CEO of the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, and it is absolutely wonderful to see a full room, a sold-out room this morning. And I do want to say one thing. I stand between you and your pledge form, so sit tight. We're almost done. Merci, Emeric et Hélène. What a wonderful story that speaks to the remarkable care that's provided at the Ottawa Hospital, but also the introduction of the latest technology, the first in Canada. Remarkable, remarkable. I'd also like to thank Travis as someone who's on a snow machine as well. you reminded us all how life can change in an absolute instant. So thank you very much for sharing your story and joining us this morning. You know, it not only was your resolve, I can picture you trying to make it home, but as you regarded that trauma team that awaited you, there was one place you were going, and that was the trauma center at the Ottawa Hospital. It's been an incredible morning with wonderful and powerful examples of the specialized care at the Ottawa Hospital. And it's care that's delivered when our patients need it the most. And it reminded me that when we're sick, we go to the hospital. But it also reminded me that when you're really sick, you need the Ottawa Hospital. A special thank you to Dr. Rebecca Auer for your remarks, for your leadership, and I think research in Ottawa is in wonderful hands with Dr. Auer as a leader. Really grateful for Cameron Love for joining us this morning. Cameron is always so generous with his time to meet with the community, to meet with our donors, and I found it wonderful in Cameron's presentation that he demonstrated the opportunity that the Ottawa Hospital has to reshape the future of healthcare. There are changes coming, and we all know we need change to make our system better. This brings us where we are today. Our $500 million campaign to create tomorrow, to support both the creation of the new campus on Carling Avenue, but also to support the innovative research that Dr. Auer spoke of. As I reflect and think of this moment in time, it's a wonderful opportunity for each and every one of us to be part of this transformation in our city. We are creating tomorrow with the largest fundraising campaign in our region's history. And we're so grateful to those leaders who have joined us early in the campaign, both as donors, as volunteers. We are so grateful that you have taken the time and recognized the important opportunity that we all have in front of us. We need community leaders to advance our work and make this all a reality. And I want to acknowledge some of those volunteer leaders who have got us where we are today. And I think of Mark and Lisa today as co-chairs of this breakfast, our many table captains, our foundation's board of directors, our campaign executive, and our campaign cabinet. Wonderful, wonderful leaders who have prioritized this project, this hospital, at this time. Each and every one of us in this room this morning is in a privileged position to shape the future of healthcare for generations to follow. It's time, and it's our time. And we need the help, your help as donors, as volunteers, and it will take each and every one of us in the entire community to allow us to reach our ambitious goal. $500 million is very daunting, still is daunting, but I'm pleased to share with you that as of earlier this morning, we are sitting at $336 million raised towards our goal. I was joking with Mayor Sutcliffe earlier, and I said, you know, $500 million is the largest campaign in our city's history. We're so grateful that we're at $336 million, yet we still have maybe the second largest campaign in Ottawa's history to go. And that's why we need the entire community with us. I have some more good news. As our campaign continues to evolve, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome 4 new co-chairs to the campaign to create tomorrow. Ginger Bertrand, founder and president of Gab Group. Jeff Clark, president and CEO, Inflector Environmental Services. Kevin Ford, president of Calian. And Dr. Kwadwo Karamontang, head of critical care at the Ottawa Hospital. Please join me in welcoming these wonderful, wonderful leaders. And those of you that have supported our campaign, you may have received a visit from Roger Greenberg. So what I'm going to say is Roger isn't going anywhere. We're so grateful he's becoming the chair emeritus of our campaign. We've been truly grateful for his leadership, his dedication, and his vision and tenacity around this historic campaign. And I often say there's no harder working volunteer than Roger Greenberg has been in our campaign thus far. So Roger is outside of the city today attending board meetings, but we did have a Zoom call with him yesterday morning from his hotel room. So he is super committed moving forward. We're truly honored as well to welcome 5 new patrons of our campaign. And I'm thrilled that one of our patrons, Jackie Holzman, is here this morning, a longtime volunteer at the Ottawa Hospital and our Research Institute. This is a key moment in our city. And I know personally I feel very privileged to be in the position that I'm in to make a difference in this city building project. The volunteer efforts of our volunteers and the community leaders play a vital role in this unprecedented campaign. And that's why this President's Breakfast this morning is so important. On November 27th, the Civic will celebrate its 100th anniversary. When it opened in 1924, it was dubbed the most modern and advanced hospital in North America. Now, 100 years later, it's our turn. We're doing our thing. And so in keeping with the celebration of the 100th, I have a challenge for you. And that challenge is, why don't you consider a $100 gift per month for a year, for a total gift of $1,200. Maybe you could step it up a little bit and consider a multi-year pledge. Turn that $100 a month commitment into a 5-year commitment to support the campaign. And I know there are many of you out there that can do more, and we encourage you to do more. As I said earlier, we need the entire community to support this campaign for us to be successful, and there's a place for everyone in our campaign. No gift is too small, and I dare say no gift is too large. So I also want you to reflect on Peter Doherty. Peter and Maureen are matching the first $65,000. So those of you out of the gate, quickly, your pledge forms await you. So imagine the legacy you'll leave for the next 100 years. Imagine the headlines a century from now about what each and every one of us did to reshape the future of healthcare for the generations that followed us. Pledge forms and QR codes are on your table. And we hope our captains at the table inspire you. So thank you all very much. We look forward to your support. We're grateful for your support. A strong Ottawa Hospital needs the strong support of our entire community. Good morning and safe home. Thank you.